is WGEM Sports.
It was a busy night for highlights across the Tri-State, so let's get right into it. The QND student section blocking out the haters with their shades on as they welcome on Illini West. Annie Eden got things going early for the Lady Raiders as she records the ace on the first serve of the night. Illini West would answer right back. They set up their right side, Hannah Pindle, and the net gets the unofficial assist on that attack. Back over to QND this time. They look over to Nora Wiley, and this one is buried on the other side of the net for the kill. The Chargers kept showing some fight. Check out this spike from Regan Reed. She obliterates this one right into the center of the court. Quincy Notre Dame would go on to win in 2 sets. Courtney Keck recorded her 500th career dig for QND. In other volleyball action, HTC swept their slate of games in their conference tournament. In soccer action across the Tri-States, Hannibal gets by Fulton 8-0. And then on the Hannibal softball dirt, traveled over to Canton this evening to take on the Lady Tigers. Both teams are trying to bounce back after suffering tough losses to Highland recently. Cadence Taylor up to bat. She'd send this one flying to Macy Glasgow. Time to travel from second base all the way on in home. Hannibal trailed by 3. Kennedy Neff fires this one down the middle to bring Sydney Zimmerman in, as well as her teammate who slides into home to bring things to 3-2. But the Lady Pirates weren't done. Sydney Phillips with a nice hit right here, and an error at first base lets Neff find her way home to knot things up at 3. Glasgow at bat now for the Lady Tigers, trying to respond. Allie Ruffcorn showing off her speed as she'll run home to put Canton ahead once again. Canton went on to take this one over Hannibal 13-3 in 5 innings. In other softball action, Paris defeats Schuyler County 17-0. West Drain defeats Knox County 9-6. North Shelby shuts out Scotland County 13-0 in 5 innings with Addie Olmeyer's 3rd home run of the season. Mark Twain defeats Wellsville 18-2, 22-year-old record broken in that one for most runs scored in a season in only 17 games. Highland shuts out Clark County in 5 innings, 12-0. Over at Hannibal, we had some boys high school swimming for you tonight. The Pirates hosted 4 other schools across Missouri for this afternoon's meet. Atticus Sternke in the 500-meter freestyle, strong off the blocks and uses those underwaters to come up ahead of the rest as he keeps up that lead through the second 25 and gets the win in 22.6 seconds. Sternke would keep things rolling and get the Pirates off to a strong start in the 200-meter freestyle relay alongside Alan Wilkerson and Kaler. Maintains that well-established lead into the turn. Kaler would wrap things up for the Hannibal Pirates Courtlet to secure a 3rd place finish.